What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today we're going to be talking about some of the weirdest things I've seen in the prison rec yard, alright? A lot of people in prison have weird hobbies. They do, man. They have weird spiritual beliefs, and sometimes they just get caught up doing the dumbest things. And I've seen a lot of stuff in the prison rec yard, so this is definitely going to be like a 4-part special, because sometimes I got to access my memory banks to remember some of the stupid stuff I've seen out there when people go to rec. Okay, now keep in mind, some of these stories are funny, but just remember, prison is a horrific place, alright? Even though you might see someone or meet someone in prison or jail that will bring you to tears with laughter, it doesn't make it a funny place, man. Always fear and respect the penitentiary. So the first one is about frisbee throwers, okay? I remember in this one prison I seen they gave out frisbees for people to throw a frisbee, and some of these guys were actually like experts with the frisbee. I'm talking about they could throw something 100 yards away and hit the target. They were experts at frisbee game, and I like frisbee. You know, frisbee's pretty fun. I can throw it pretty good, but sometimes it's hard to find a compatible partner that can throw it good as you. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll be chasing it 50 yards because no one knows how to throw a frisbee for real in prison. But these guys I'm talking about, they were good, and they designed this game, and even amateurs were trying to play it because they just thought they could possibly hit the target, you know what I mean? Anyways, one frisbee player would be standing here, another frisbee player about 20 yards away would be standing, and the game was to try to hit the person with the frisbee. You couldn't move. If you moved, the guy could get like 10 yards from you and throw the frisbee as hard as he wants at you, you know what I mean? That was what happens if you move, okay? A lot of people did too. The frisbee would be coming directly for their freaking throat or face, and they'll duck it. You know what I mean? But they would be forced to stand there, and the guy would have to walk about 10 yards from him and throw the frisbee, which is even worse. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, I haven't seen any fights occur from this crazy and funny game. I never played it. I sat in the bleachers and just laughed. I laughed. I got some of the best laughs I've ever had watching this game take place. I remember this one guy, man. He would, look, this guy was an expert frisbee thrower. I'm talking about almost every single time he would hit him with a headshot. And this one dude, man, he sat there for about 6 throws, okay? 6 throws, he thought he could finally, one of those throws, he thought he was going to hit the dude. And he came close, but he never hit the guy. But the other guy, every single time, man, if it wasn't on the shoulder, it was on the head. I'm talking about direct headshots, and I don't know if anybody ever played frisbee and heard the sound it makes when someone gets hit in the head with the frisbee. It's absolutely hilarious. Now, another weird thing that I've seen on the prison yard is something I talked about in another video, alright? And it's not really too much I can really say about it, but it was a prison wedding, okay? This guy that would probably go out in the streets and be a straight dude was having a prison marriage with this gay guy on the yard. I'm talking about holding hands, someone saying something. I don't know if it was a priest or what, but someone was reciting something, and they kissed and everything. You know what I mean? Right there on the freaking prison yard, man. Believe it or not, a lot of that stuff happens in the state of Virginia, all right, and a lot of other prisons. There's a lot of people with girlfriends and prison wives in prison. Maybe not in the West Coast so much, but please keep in mind, not every prison is the same. Another weird and crazy thing that I've seen in the yard was at the weight pile. Believe it or not, a lot of prisons, almost all the prisons in the state of Virginia have weights. I'm talking about heavy bench press, dumbbells, free weights, okay, and machines. It's not like over there in the West Coast where all they give you pretty much is a freaking pull-up bar and dip bar, all right? Over here, they give you weights. Anyway, so this white dude was working on the prison yard, okay? He had his gym shorts on, white tennis shoes, and he was one of these, like, fitness buffs, like the, what do they call them? Those guys that do, like, not triathlons, but, you know, the Spartan stuff, you know what I mean? Like, Spartan, they run, jump, and lift weights, clean press, all, you know, repetitions all in a row, and do it by a certain amount of time. It's like endurance training or whatever. But this dude had a stopwatch. White dude had a stopwatch, and every day he would just do these, you know, workout routines with a stopwatch, and he would do everything by times. And I think he was ex-military, believe it or not. But anyway, this dude, he had no shirt on. He had gym shorts, you know, boxers, and white tennis shoes. Now, one day, this dude was working out and got in an argument and started fighting this other dude, okay? Homeboy, the triathlon guy with the stopwatch, he gets beat up, and the dude that beat him up strips his shorts and boxers clean off his body, and he didn't have no shirt on either. Okay, so this dude gets up after getting beat up, and he has to walk over there to his t-shirt, which is like on the other side of the weight pile, but he's butterball naked. The only thing he has on is his white tennis shoes, and he got beat up in the gravel, so he was all sweaty and had gravel stuck all over his butt naked body, man, walking over to the other side of the yard for everyone in the whole yard to see, just to grab his t-shirt and cover himself up and walk out the yard. You know, long story short, he went to the hole. Homeboy that he was fighting with went to the hole, but he had to walk up to the guards with nothing but a t-shirt covering up his privates. You know what I mean? That, I think, would probably be one of the most humiliating things to go through in prison, man. Next up on the list is contraband, man. Look, check this out. The prison yard in this one prison I was in was surrounded by fence, okay? It was surrounded by fencing, and once you're in the yard, they lock you in there, and they pat you down sometimes, okay? Sometimes they pat you down if they think that there's going to be some kind of gang activity, fights going on, they'll pat you down. But a lot of times, the guys that let you into the yard, they don't pat you down, all right? So it's a good way to pass around contraband, shanks, and drugs, and all kinds of stuff. Well, anyway, they're locked into the yard, and homeboy was trying to get someone that was inside the cages a TV, a little flat screen plasma TV, okay? It's like a 12-inch. I think that's how big it was, how big they sold at this compound. But anyway, it wasn't too big. It was easy enough to stuff into his pants if he needed to and walk out the yard without getting patted down and have himself a free TV, okay? Now, this guy's in the yard, locked in the cage, and it's not really a cage. It's a big yard, but the only thing separating the yard from, you know, where all the other inmates that aren't in the yard, that might be walking to chow or something, is like a 12-foot fence with some barbed wire. So people would be throwing oranges from the cafeteria to the guys working out. Now, this one guy wanted to throw a freaking plasma TV over the fence, okay? That in itself is absolutely insane, because an apple and an orange is one thing, but throwing a whole freaking 12-inch plasma over the fence, that's going to catch some eyes, you know what I mean? You can go to hole behind that for real, and that's what happened. They went to the hole, but the funny thing about it is, homeboy threw this TV like he was a little schoolgirl or something. Threw his elbow first, didn't make it nowhere near going over the fence, so it bounces off the barbed wire and smashes into pieces right on the other side of the fence. Didn't even make it over. His homeboy's looking at him and cussing. I'm like, what the freaking hell, man? You know what I mean? And the guards, sure enough, come running over there to where he's at, lock him up, put him in the hole. So he was out of a TV, broke his freaking TV. He's probably going to get some serious charges and might be shipped down to a whole nother compound. You know what I mean? Stupidity. But hey, you never know. Absolutely crazy. All right, so last but not least, this one was pretty freaking funny too, okay? This new guy came into the yard, and he was a beast on the pull-up bar. I'm talking about he was doing crazy stuff. There's this YouTube video, I think it's called like World's Strongest Inmate or something. This dude, and he was doing, in the YouTube video, dude's doing all these crazy pull-ups and flips and stuff. He's like a gymnast on the pull-up bar. And so is this guy that I'm going to tell you about right now. This dude was fresh to the compound. You know, no one really talked to him. White dude. Anyways, this dude's new to the compound. No one really knows him, so he goes walking around. You can always tell who's new in the yard. They're looking around at stuff, and, you know, he just stood out like a sore thumb. But this dude, when he got up on the pull-up bars, instantly drew crowds. This dude was doing gymnast stuff, okay? I'm talking about like 40 pull-ups straight, and, you know, what they call them things, you know, where you literally pull yourself all the way up. I forget what they call them. Muscle-ups. And believe it or not, them things are pretty tough. The first muscle-up I ever did was in prison. I was so happy when I did it. I was like, oh my God, I finally did it. Because we like to watch stuff on TV, like those fitness channels where these people are, the triathlon things, you know, like the Spartan competitions, whatever they're called. And those were actually highly watched in prison. It would get everyone amped up to go in the yard and try to do these muscle-ups and crazy workouts. And I think I messed up my lower back doing the clean presses. That's right. I'll never forget when I first got just 125 up with a clean press. I was like so excited, man. But after you get the technique down, you can start lifting heavier and heavier. And one day, I tried to go too heavy, and literally my back went out on me on the yard. I had to be like, I was holding on to two dudes while they carried me out the yard. I couldn't walk for like 3 days. I'm telling you, I was jacked up from doing those clean presses. But anyways, this dude was a beast on the pull-up bars, and he would do everything. I'm talking about he would go all the way around full circle like a gymnast, and he would draw crowds. People would sit there and watch this dude in amazement. Okay, he was very talented on the pull-up bar. He was like a gymnast. Now, of course, there's this one guy in prison. There's always this one guy who thinks he can do it. You know, this guy was really good doing pull-ups and muscle-ups, and he was a very strong individual. But he was like, man, I want to try. He wanted to try doing the whole spin around. You know what I mean? The whole spin around like a gymnast. And dude was like, look, the key to doing it, I was sitting right there listening to him talk. And dude was like, the key to doing it is not to think about it. Just get some momentum and then just keep on spinning. Don't think about it. If you think about it, you're going to mess up, okay? And he also said the key is a grip. You can't be having sweaty hands because you'll end up flying off the bar or something. So dude tries it a couple times. He gets all the way up to about here and then comes back down. You know, he didn't get a full circle. Now this one time he goes all the way up. Okay, he goes all the way up and he's stuck in his handstand position on the pull-up bar. If he just went 3 more inches to the left, he would have had done his whole 360. But when he comes down, he didn't make it. He went back down the same way. And when he came down, he lost grip of his hands, landed face first in the grass, and knocks himself clean out. You know what I mean? I can't, you know, it's like watching America's Funniest Home Videos, man. Stuff like that you don't want to laugh at, but at the same time, it's freaking hilarious, man. I haven't watched AFV in a long time. Ridiculousness is pretty funny, too. I don't know if anybody ever watches that show, but... So, yeah, homeboy knocked himself out trying to be a gymnast, but look, you know, a lot of these stories you might not think it's too funny, but when I was there and I saw it and witnessed it myself, I laughed for days after watching these things. It's just absolutely hilarious seeing some of these people do these weird activities, games, hobbies. You know, I've even seen people, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you don't get chicken bones in prison. Yeah, the prison I was in, you got chicken bones, especially in Thanksgiving, man. They gave out bread. I had like freaking 5 chicken breasts on my plate, okay? But sometimes they would serve chicken on a regular basis. This one guy would make models of motorcycles with the chicken bones. You know, weird things I've seen in the prison yard, weird hobbies and weird activities. But let me say this, there are some very, very, very talented individuals in prison, man. Talent's just going to the wayside, you know what I mean? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. And go check out all the links in the description of the video. Add me up on all that social media. And check me out on Twitch. I don't know if I'm going to do it today, but I'm going to get back in the mix tomorrow for sure on the gaming note, man. A lot of good games coming out this year in January of 2019. It's going to start off strong with Resident Evil 2 Remastered. And God, does it look beautiful. Beautiful is an understatement. They changed 35 different things about the whole story and game. So I can't wait to stream that live on Twitch, man. Go add me up right now. Don't want y'all missing a single thing. And as I said before, please, even though I tell funny stories about prison, there's nothing funny about it, man. Ain't a damn thing funny about it. Always fear and respect the state penitentiary.